Charles Robinson, as you know, ain't no ballot necessary. Forget first ballot. You ain't got to take a ballot. Aaron Donald, all right, moving on. Hall of Famer, 5 years after he's done playing. The Rams getting a little taste of how the other quarterbacks have lived these last 8 years. They got a little sense of Aaron Donald applying pressure there on an I Am Athlete podcast. Bro, this feels like a blank check type situation. Whatever it takes to keep Aaron Donald from walking away. What does a new Aaron Donald contract look like, Charles? I mean, it certainly looks like better than being the 102nd highest paid player in the NBA at NFL, at $14.25 million in 2022. Certainly looks better than that. But what does an Aaron Donald contract look like, and how do you see this resolving itself one way or the other?
He's got a chance to test the 30 million barrier for a defensive player. Obviously, Ndamukong Suh was the first to penetrate the $20 million barrier, but I think Aaron Donald, given where the cap is going, I would look. I'm not saying these are the numbers on the table, but I would think that you're talking about 4 years, 120 million, as much of that guaranteed as you can possibly get. I think there's no question in my mind he is far and away the most dominant player on defense in football consistently, and you could argue he's the most dominant player in the NFL since he walked in the league. I mean, it's as you said, when you talk about Hall of Fame, he is the proverbial just say the name guy. Just stand up. You're presenting Aaron Donald. You stand up, you go, Aaron Donald, Los Angeles Rams, you sit down. That's it. He's in. He gets it, and he's unanimous. So to me, I think what's interesting in this story, though, is it's always, to me, I've always felt like it's been about the money. And, I know he said something to Rodney Harrison. He thought it was in confidence. Rodney Harrison comes out and says on the eve of the Super Bowl that there's a chance that he could walk away. And then, Aaron Donald comes out and says, well, he talks about his children being away from, because he's in LA. He's got family his family's in Pittsburgh. And just how difficult it's been to constantly be away. And then even taking, like last year, he made a lot of special trips back and all that. But again, when a player comes out on a podcast and talks about business, it is 100% now about the contract. Sure, he'd be fine walking away. I think he'd be fine spending time with his family and feeling like he buttoned up his Hall of Fame career. There's no doubt about that. But when he says, go back to the table, it's look at my money. $14.5 million is just not even close to where Aaron Donald should be. And like I said, I think he's got, if he does not break the $30 million barrier, I don't know who would at this point for a defensive player.
All right, Charles, you said he's a classic, hey, just say the name and then sit down and he's in guy. This is also a classic, we always say this little phrase, we say, okay, who says no? All right, who the hell's saying no with the LA Rams? Hey, Aaron Donald's contract is up. Is it my Uncle Stan Kroenke saying, no, we can't afford that? Is it Les Snead? Is it McVay? Who's saying no? Why isn't this done already?
I'm with you. I really honestly, I thought, when I was at the owners' meetings in March, I got this sense that I was like, oh, this is almost done. Like, this is going to get done. This is going to be a problem. And the Rams have taken the approach that, the cap is easy, the cash is hard. That is carrying the cash. You got to put the guaranteed cash in escrow, and it would be a large amount for Aaron Donald. Like I said, if it's a 4-year, $120 million deal, there's a possibility that 50, 60, 70% of that has to be put in escrow as guaranteed money. I don't think it's going to be hard to figure out how to spread that money out. I don't know. I can honestly tell you, the sense I got from everybody in the organization is that they want him back. Like, there's no question they want him back. But I also think that they have to juggle a Cooper Kupp deal. Jalen Ramsey at some point is going to need to be redone, but I honestly think some other team's going to end up doing that deal with Jalen Ramsey. I don't think he'll ultimately get his money from the Rams, because at some point they're going to have to start to pick and choose. And I think, the revelation right now is we still have a Super Bowl window right now, and we could have it for a couple of years now here. And Aaron Donald's got to be part of that. He walks, dramatically changes everything.
What's up with Lamar Jackson? He's telling everybody to chill, mind your business, ain't nothing to see here. I'm at where I'm at, and I'm going to be where I be when it comes to him not being at OTAs despite not engaging the team with a contract. I mean, it feels like a pretty big deal. Is he just deflecting? What's the deal there?
This is one of the weirdest things I've seen in a really long time, and contractually maybe the weirdest thing I've ever seen. The Steelers the Ravens badly want to get a deal done with him, badly. They are like completely perplexed why there is an engagement and that they're not working on this. And I'm telling you, head coach, general manager, ownership, everybody wants to get this deal done. And I think they unless they're just completely lying, what you're getting from them, and I don't know if they're really conveying this publicly well, is we don't understand. We don't get it. Like, what's going on here? Why is this not getting done? And you talk to anybody around the league, they say the same thing. They're like, they don't know. Like, they want to know what is the holdup with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. There are other, you talk to quarterback agents, like, what's the deal? Like, there are quarterback agents that are sitting there, they're trying to factor in next offseason's deals, all these different things, and they have no clue. So it's interesting because everybody who's usually involved in a process like this, they don't know. And it seems to me, and from everyone else I've spoken to, the only person who understands why is Lamar Jackson. And I don't know. Like I said, it's the single weirdest thing I've ever seen from a contract standpoint. And it's fair to ask the obvious question. Does he want to be there? Is there, like, why, what's the deal? Like, what does he not want to be there? Because that's usually the reason why players don't want to do deals. It's either that or they believe I'm betting on myself and I can maximize, down the line.
But Charles, but even that, you just said something that I love how you put it. This is the weirdest thing you've ever seen. Usually that's the case when players don't want to do deals. Just that phrase right there. Players don't want to do deals. You don't hear that. The only other time I've heard it was Deebo Samuel. They may not want to do the deal that the team is putting in front of them. They may not want that. But players never walk away from a payday, especially after you've been waiting for it and you've outperformed it. This might be unprecedented in all of sports.
Yeah, I've never, other than, Dak Prescott, and that's, my mind often goes back to Dak Prescott in this whole thing, because Dak Prescott, it became a process of betting on himself. It was, hey, I don't want to take that deal. I mean, obviously Dallas didn't think they were, but I mean, as far as where the quarterback market,
yeah,
right.
But he was engaging, he was negotiating.
Right, they were exactly right, and there were a number of proposals exchanged, and it was like a normal process. This is not a normal process. Like it's. Right. I literally had a conversation with a multitude of people last week about this, and it was just like, there's no answer here. Like, there's no, and now Lamar seems to be, when he doesn't show up for OTAs on top of it, I do not think it is unfair to ask Lamar Jackson the question, like, do you just straight up, do you want to be in Baltimore? Like, is this the franchise that you want to continue forward with? And if he takes umbrage to that, my rationale would just be like, Lamar, like that's the natural question that comes up when the team is very clearly indicating that they want to engage with you on a contract and it's not happening.
Man, odd situation. I'm going to stay in the same division, same position though. Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson. So we know, keep looking at that situation. When is there going to be some resolution or some clarity on Watson's situation? Charles, we haven't talked to you since two women went on the record with Soledad O'Brien, went on Real Sports on HBO, and told their story. Have you heard any kind of reaction to that piece? And does it change any part of the story for you or for anybody else you think in the NFL?
As far as the reaction, I don't think there's been any kind of a significant. It's very much of what changed here is that you had, like, Ashley Solis, we had heard from her before, obviously, at a press conference. But now you have a situation where you have 2 alleged victims now discussing it with a journalist on camera. There's a back and forth exchange. I think, to me, what people should take away from this is imagine it in a courtroom, because really that's the new sort of, I guess, dimension that got added to that interview, because you're like, this is how this would go down in a courtroom. There's going to be exchanges like this. This is what you're going to hear from these women. And but as far as the information, no, I mean, that information was all in there. Like, it was in there. It's if you've read the suits, there was nothing revealed in that interview that wasn't already in the lawsuits, that hadn't already been written about in some way, shape, or form. So that was not I think a huge surprise. I think in terms of resolution, the NFL now has wrapped up its interviews with Deshaun Watson, okay? And now I've heard that there's still a possibility of the league circling back, but I think the league right now is to the point of basically gathering up everything it's got, its findings, and moving forward to the disciplinary officer, who's basically the initial arbitrator to decide whether or not Deshaun Watson violated the personal conduct policy. I think the team and Deshaun's camp hopefully believes that this is something that's going to be figured out before training camp kicks off in July. I don't anticipate it's going to be in the next few days. Like, basically what I heard was, hey, June, hopefully June, and then at the latest before camp kicks off in July. So there's some sort of decision rendered on whether or not he's going to be suspended, and they can go through the appeals process and all that different stuff if that does indeed happen.
And we'll see how many games he ends up getting or ends up serving. We know that Tommy Pham got 3 games for slapping Jock Peterson. Charles, his side gig is as the commissioner of the best fantasy football league in America, the Super League, the 20-team Super League, which I have been privileged to be a part of. You brought me back in just when I thought I was out. You brought me back in last year. You run a tight ship. We've had a lot of great fantasy conversations. I've been dying to have this conversation with you, because I swear this is all I could think about the last 4 days. This is my favorite sports story in the last 4 years. This is just fantastic, culminating with Jock Peterson bringing the receipts.
Showing the GIF of the.
Wait, here it is. Here it is right here. Check it out.
Tommy Pham suspension before the game. Just what's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I saw that, and I know what he said, and it's true. There was a lot of money involved in it. I did send a GIF in the group chat that was making fun of the Padres. In the group chat, there was also there was more than one Padre. There was maybe 4 or 5 that I'm kind of close with a couple of them, and it was supposed to be a friendly thing, just making fun of they were playing bad and just talking back and forth. And yeah, I mean, he did not like that and responded. Jock, I don't know you well enough to make any jokes like this. And yeah, so then I wrote back. I'm just trying to pull it up so it's exact. Was meant to be all fun and games. No hard feelings. Sorry if you took it that way. And then about 2 weeks later, after like week 4 or 5, he ended up leaving the league. And there's been no communication since. But like I said, it is true. I did send a GIF making fun of the Padres, and if I hurt anyone's feelings, I apologize for that.
What was it, if you can share that?
It was like, I'll show you, I guess. It was like 3 weightlifters lifting, and that's what it was. Because they were a really good team, so it was kind of making fun of how they were not playing well to make the playoffs with a very talented team. So I was teammates with some of them, and yeah, it was supposed to be lighthearted, and I understand everyone takes jokes differently. So, like I said, I apologize for that, and looking to move past this and show up tomorrow with no distractions and try to help this team win a ball game.
Don't apologize.
Okay.
Don't move past this. This is.
I just want someone to edit their faces into Charlie Murphy Real Hollywood Stories of Rick James slapping him. Like, that's all. Someone's got to have that video.
Oh, I mean, there's a more recent slap, which we don't need to get into. But I mean, listen.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
that's
so
right.
check
That
it.
one, too.
All right. So check it. A couple of things I got to get off my chest about this. I've been holding this for a while, Michael. You just got to. Michael ain't in it like me and you, Charles. You just got to live with this, Michael. Okay. First and foremost, do we know how much money was involved? Because Charles Robinson knows. It does matter. No. Here's why it matters. No, it matters to me. It matters to me only for this reason, Michael. Charles Robinson knows I'm always trying to hike up the entry fee. If you're good at something, never do it for free. I don't play small money leagues. So, because if it was a significant amount of money, even though Tommy Pham was clearly in the wrong, because everybody who plays fantasy knows that if somebody's out, you put them in IR. That's like basic, okay? That's not even up for debate. So Jock Peterson's right. But I do, Charles, respect somebody who takes fantasy seriously enough to slap the shit out of somebody and get suspended for it. That's my kind of guy. Because you know how seriously I take fantasy. I was like, you know what? I get it. He's wrong, but I get it. He
held that grudge a long time, and you damn well know he was out there, during warm-ups. He's like, yep, this is it. This is my time. He knew it. He'd been waiting for it. Like, he was, man, it was, I mean, that
Why
is
did he leave the league? But you can't leave the league, though. Like, leaving the league mid-season? I kind of question Tommy Pham's legitimacy as a fantasy GM there.
The mid-season.
Don't know the rules, and you're leaving the league?
Yeah, dipping mid-season, because you just forfeit your money at that point. And so to dip in the middle of the season is odd. I don't know, though. I want to know, how much money was involved. And you're right, Mike constantly tries to hike up the money in the Super League. Yeah. He wants to put it. We don't all have his pockets, okay? I just want to say, like,
I don't even have my pockets.
There's some average
no guts, no glory
in this league.
Hey, Charles, you're the commissioner. These are grown men here. All right, grown men. First of all, they gotta understand. Most people don't want to hear about your fantasy football league. They don't want to hear about it.
Not in this case. Not in this case. No, this is an exception. This is an exception. That's usually the golden rule, but this is an exception.
They certainly don't want to hear you fighting about it or see you fighting about it. But Commissioner, tell us, what is the most tense situation that you've had to officiate, that you've had to arbitrate between league members? You had to kind of calm people down because. All right. Give us a couple of examples.
We had, so first off, the first person ever ejected from our league was Jeff Darlington because of something Michael Smith did.
I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything.
He basically
it was a perfectly fair trade.
No,
it was
not.
a fair trade. Yes, it was.
Basically, Michael Smith was gutting Jeff Darlington's team. Jeff basically was out of it. So Jeff just decides, I don't care, whatever. And here's how Mike did it. Mike kills you with trade offers. Okay, Mike will trade. He will hound you. He will send you emails. He will send you texts. Hey, I just sent you another one. Yep. Hey, I just sent you another one. Yep. Hey, did you see the one I just sent you? Hey, what about this? What about this? Yep. So finally, Jeff was just like, no, man, I don't even care about this anymore. He's like, fine, whatever. So it was so one-sided. People in the league were going to quit. Jeff admitted to me that he was just like, I don't care, whatever Mike wanted. So I was like, all right, Jeff, you're out. So I had to toss Jeff Darlington out of our league, which was like year 2, okay? So that was one. This other one, I'm not going to name the person, okay? Because it was.
Wait, why is Michael laughing? Michael, you drafted Jason Witten in the first round. You shouldn't even be in this conversation. Go ahead, Charles. What's the other one? Go ahead.
Stop deflecting. Stop deflecting. It's about you, not about me.
Yeah. So
we said on topic.
Okay, so there was that. Then there was another one where, I'll name Jamel. It was me and Jamel Hill, okay, and then a third person. Jamel and I had a trade, okay, where I was picking up Aaron Rodgers. It was just a similar situation. She was kind of out of it. I was picking up Aaron Rodgers. I was sending her a bunch of players, whatever. Manager. She was not a good fantasy manager. That's true. We should have her. But
she was indifferent.
Another person in the league was really, really upset about the deal, and group mass emailed everybody, all caps, blew up, like just super angry, and Jamel basically was like, I like this deal. I'm not trying to lose every game the rest of the season. I want to try and win as many games as I possibly can.
It was just a bad deal.
It was just, they saw it as a bad deal because I was adding a premium quarterback. She was adding a bunch of players, whatever. Anyway, so it got so bad that this person's like, F it, I'm dumping all my players. I'm cutting all of them. So everybody can just grab them. I was like, you cannot do that. Do not do that. Do not dump your players. We'll put the trade up for league vote. He was like, nope, forget it. I'm jumping. Whoever wants my players, just email me. And I was like, last chance. Don't do this. And they persisted. So I was like, I froze their team.
Gotta go.
I kicked them out of the league. Yeah, I froze their team.
Gotta go.
Kicked them out of the league. So that was it.
Charles,
that team went into receivership. It went into receivership, right? That franchise.
I'm your Robert Kraft, Jerry Jones, Dan Rooney, Art Rooney. I'm like, I'll be helping you, man, behind the scenes. I'll be helping. I'm the shadow commissioner of this league.
I don't know. You're like Carmen Policy. You're like, somebody you're like, I think they did something wrong once. And when they get in trouble, but they're still involved. Like, wait a minute, like. Kind of like Dan Snyder, like we took away your ability.
Oh, Dan Snyder now.
We took away your ability. Took away your ability to operate, Snyder, but then you came back.
I'm Eddie DeBartolo.
That took a
turn. and by the way, he has been trying to get me to start up another league, and I was
a dynasty league,
and I'm like, look, man, I'm like, okay, like I don't think we can pull it off this off season. But maybe, I can gather enough people together for next offseason, whatever. But, man, he's already – so what are we doing?
How about this?
What's going on with that?
Let's get Jock Peterson in this league. Let's extend an invitation to Jock Peterson.
By the way, if I was in a league and I thought someone was stashing a healthy player on IR, I would have a problem with it.
But you can't stash a healthy player on IR. That's the point. Know the rules. They got to be out. Don't they be out?
I have seen.
Gotta be designated as out.
Players, yeah. Well, when they're in the IR slot, though, I have seen players remain in an IR slot after they can't come back. You just can't make any other roster moves until you activate that player. So technically, you could carry it.
Yeah, that's just negligence, though. Yeah. And of course, it was Jeff Wilson, who everybody was counting on last year. We love you, Charles. Thank you, man. I'll call you later about these rule tweaks. All right.
All right. See you guys.
Good stuff. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.